What we saw down here today is pure evil.
What we saw down here today is pure evil.
16 children found in unimaginable conditions.
Most of our livestock was kept in better conditions than the children.
That is not a line from a horror script. That is the opening statement from an Ohio prosecutor standing in front of a single family home in Vinton County, population under 13,000.
Kids forced to live in a 12 by 12 room in rural Ohio, starved, neglected, alone.
Inside that home, law enforcement found 16 children living in a 12 by 12 room, ages 1.5 to 18.5.
Literate, and according to the Attorney General, some even unable to speak.
It looked like...
The prosecutor did not soften the language. He compared the conditions to livestock and said the livestock had it better.
almost feral animals. It was terrible.
Think of a door that stayed closed for 4 years, not because it was locked from the outside, but because everyone on the outside assumed someone else had already looked behind it. That door was in rural Ohio. Behind it, 16 children who had never been enrolled in school, some who could not speak, one 18-year-old who could not spell her own name. Before we go deeper into what the documents actually show, make sure you are subscribed to Trial and Crime, because we do not just cover the story, we follow the evidence.
Here's everything we know so far about the Cider's family house of horrors. This is Scandal. I'm Sierra Gillespie.
The warrant was served on June 30th. The adults inside 73-year-old Gary Cider Sr., his wife, 67-year-old Christina Cider, who goes by Lynn, their son, 36-year-old Gary Cider Jr., and his wife, 33-year-old Elizabeth Cider. The paperwork said search warrant. The scene said something else.
The conditions are out of a horror movie. A 12 by 12 room in rural Appalachia where 16 children are hidden from the outside world, not even allowed to attend school or leave the house. The conditions are unlike anything I've ever reported on before.
Officials have not released the affidavit. The probable cause remains sealed, and that is where the first official contradiction appears. The public indecency charges against Gary Jr. for misdemeanor counts from late May were not, according to the state, the reason deputies walked through that door.
Conditions you cannot even imagine people being in, let alone children living in.
Where they're covered in bugs and
So what sent law enforcement to that address? The state is not saying. The search warrant is sealed. The affidavit is sealed. The order sealing both documents is itself a public record. Nobody asked. Nobody answered.
squatting and had that like distant look in their eyes. It was terrible.
But all that is just the beginning. There's reports of an indecent exposure charge. Medical bills so severe they could bankrupt a county, a child bride.
What we do know is what they found. A 12 by 12 room. Feces, flies, cockroaches, a smell that one official said he could not get off his skin the next day. Children squatting with what was described as a distant look in their eyes. 2 children airlifted to level 1 trauma centers, at least one intubated.
And even conjoined twins. So what do the accused have to say for themselves?
It's not illegal for something to be dirty. It's not illegal for a home.
The criminal complaints are identical. Each adult faces 16 counts of endangering children, felonies of the 2nd degree. The language is dry. The allegation is not serious physical harm to a child under 18.
That's a defense attorney for one of the defendants, and we'll hear more from him later. But first, one of the only phrases we've heard so far from the...
Here is where the parallel narrative opens. Elizabeth Cider was 15 years old when she married Gary Jr. 15 when she crossed the state line into West Virginia because Ohio law would not allow it. 15 when she had her first child. Over the next 17 years, she was pregnant almost every single year. That is not a detail. That is a timeline.
Accused child abusers is this little clip.
And how do you plead?
Her own brother posted that she was indoctrinated into what he did not say, but the pattern is there. A 15-year-old removed from her family, absorbed into another household, and then kept in a cycle of pregnancy and isolation so complete that neighbors say they did not know children lived there at all.
Stop. This is not the time for you to argue your case.
The defense has responded. One attorney said it is not illegal for a home to be dirty. Another said the state is criminalizing poverty. And it is true. Filth alone is not a felony. But 16 children in a single room, some unable to speak, Some covered in insects is not poverty. That is containment. Nobody asked. Nobody answered.
These are serious allegations.
We're taking a deep dive into this case, breaking down all the leads, debunking rumors, highlighting the facts, and
So what happens now? The children are in foster care, all 16 of them. Placing 16 children, some toddlers, some developmentally disabled, is a strain on any county. In Vinton County, it taxes every resource the state has.
and even hearing from Law and Crime's very own Anjanette Levy, the host of Crime Fix, about her research in this case.
And then there is the second financial detonation. Gary Sr. fell during transport to a preliminary hearing. He was taken to a hospital. The county is now responsible for his medical care. The prosecutor said the bills could bankrupt Vinton County. One man's hospital stay could empty a county budget.
Scene setter. Today's scandal takes us to Vinton County, Ohio, a small county with a population less than 13,000. Here's Ohio.
Which raises the question the state has not answered: what was so important inside that house that a search warrant was executed in the first place? What crime did they suspect before they ever saw the room? Because the children were not the reason deputies showed up. They were the reason deputies stayed.
Ohio prosecutor and former Deputy Attorney General Mark Weaver.
This is Southern Ohio. This is Appalachia. That doesn't excuse anything. It's just explanatory.
The grand jury has not been convened. The defendants waived their preliminary hearings. The competency evaluation for Gary Sr. is pending. Elizabeth's attorney has filed for her release. The prosecutor has not said whether he will oppose it.
Families with that many children in Appalachia is already pretty unusual.
The search warrant remains sealed. The affidavit remains sealed. The children are alive. The adults are charged. And the original reason for that warrant is still unknown to the public. Nobody asked. Nobody answered.
Don't see families with 7, 8, 9, 10 or more children typically in Appalachia. And then if you do, you certainly wouldn't see them confined in.
Here is the document to request. The search warrant inventory and the sealing order are court records. Ask the Vinton County Clerk of Courts for the sealing order in the case against Gary Cider Sr. Read it, then ask yourself one question. What crime was the state looking for before it found 16 children?
In such a small room or such a small house. This is one of the smallest counties in Ohio, Vinton County.
If you believe the documents matter more than the headlines like this video, share it, subscribe to Trial and Crime, and turn on notifications. We follow the evidence wherever it leads.